The Great Fairies. You can't live with them, and you can't live without them. And they're making a return in Tears of the Kingdom, but with quite a bit of a difference. They're much more difficult to unlock, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you exactly where to find all 4 Great Fairies and how to unlock each and every one of them, so you can upgrade your armor to its utmost quality. In order to start the Fairy questline, you're going to need to be far enough in the story where you can free roam the entire map at your leisure. And you're going to need to unlock the first tower in the first town that you're going to come across, which is the Lookout Landing. And once you do, there's going to be a bird named Pen sitting outside of the tower, and he's going to tell you about a paper that he's working for and would like your help. From here, we need to go meet him at the next location. Once you have finished your conversation with Penn at Lookout Landing, you're going to want to head northwest along this road. You're going to want to find a way across the gorge right here. There's plenty of ways to launch yourself in the air or use the reverse time skill that you learned at the beginning of the game to get yourself higher in the air and then glide down. You're going to want to unlock this shrine here for a fast travel spot, and then you're going to head to the Lucky Clover Gazette. Once here, head inside of the renovated stables and talk to Penn. He's going to introduce you to his partner in crime, and this is going to begin a long quest line for tracking down clues of Zelda's disappearance, and the Great Fairies is part of this quest line. Once you finish this conversation, we can begin unlocking all of the Great Fairies. There is 2 more things that we need to do before continuing on with this quest line. You're going to need to tame a horse that has a capability of pulling a cart, and you're going to need enough pony points to acquire the part culling harness that you can get from the pony point rewards. This doesn't take a lot. You can visit different stables throughout the game, or you can tame a bunch of horses and trade them in and get pony points for each time you do that as well. Now, if you open up your map, I can show you different locations for some of these stables. We've got the Woodland stable. Actually, the majority of the stables are relatively in the same location as in the previous game, just like the Dueling Peaks stables. And if you kind of just follow the roads, you'll eventually run into these different stables. You'll get a pony point for each stable that you register, as well as a point for each horse that you tame and put into the stables. Now, once you have your horse and your pole harness, you're going to want to head to the Woodland stables, where you'll find Penn standing outside of what looks like a traveling band. You can find the stable by going northeast from Lookout Landing, across the rivers, and right here is the Woodland Stables. So during this conversation, we find out about the Great Fairies and a little bit more information about Zelda's disappearance. Now, these musicians have discovered that the Great Fairies really like music, so we have to find a way to bring these musicians to the Great Fairies to unlock them. The first thing we need to do is actually repair the wagon. It's missing 2 wheels, and thankfully there are 2 wheels directly next to this wagon. So we're just going to attach them to these spots and make the wagon usable again. And then we can head to the stables. We're going to pull out our horse and equip the saddle onto it. Now, for the purposes of this video, I will be using Zelda's Golden Horse, which I have a video on how to acquire if you really like it. It's a really awesome horse, gentle temperament. It's absolutely amazing. But now we've got our cart and we've got our horse. Once you get it all nice and built, just go up and talk to the musicians and tell them that you're going to take them to the Great Fairy. From here, we just need to hop on our horse, and we need to head directly up to where the fairy is located, just up this hill. Try not to go too fast and break the wagon and send our lovely musicians to their death. Now, once you get to the top, our musicians are going to play our fairy a nice little tune to get her to come out of her bud. She's going to inform us of 3 other locations for the other 3 fairies, but we're going to have to do something to unlock each of them. Now, this is very similar to an upgrade path as the previous games, where every time you upgrade it, it's going to cost a certain amount of materials. Like for upgrading the Hylian Tunic, we're going to need to use the Bokoblin Horns, so we can upgrade this from 3 to 5 for our first enhancement. Now, just like the previous game, every time you unlock a fairy, you're going to unlock an additional upgrade level. So our first fairy, we can only upgrade it 1 time. For the next fairy, we're going to head southwest from Lookout Landing through Hyrule Field, and we want to head over to this location right here, the Outskirts Stable. Here, we're going to find our lovely musicians here once again, but they're looking for another member of their troupe. They're going to tell you that they want to soothe the next fairy, but that fairy loves the sound of a flute, and lo and behold, they don't have a flutist or a piper currently in their troupe. To find our lost piper, we're going to need to head south down this road, and we're going to be heading to the Highland Stables, where you can cross this bridge right here, And if we make our way all the way south, the Highland Stables are right here. As you approach the Highland Stables, you're going to start hearing some flute playing in the woods. This is actually our lost flautist or flutist or whatever you want to call him. The piper is up in the tree, and this is who we need to talk to, and we need to encourage them to come back to actually play for the Great Fairy. Once we talk to him, he's not going to leave to go back to the troop until we help him with something in this area. Now, there's a couple different ways you can acquire these fireflies. You can actually buy them from the shop from Beetle, and he'll refresh those every day, so you can keep just resting until the next day and buy all of the ones that you need from that. If you run over to this tent over here when it's not raining, you can also catch fireflies right here. And if you go to Cocorico Village at night, you can catch fireflies there as well. Once you've got your fireflies, head back to Piper and turn them in. Just basically kidnap this child and head back over to the tree where we found Piper. Once you're done here, head back to the outskirts stable and talk to the musicians once again, who still want to appease the Great Fairy, but once again, their cart is broken and we have to help them get up there. Now, they're going to tell you that no horse can make it up there, so we thankfully have one of these machines right nearby. All you have to do is just make sure all of the wheels are put on here in the proper direction. Then you're going to grab their little cart right here, and we're going to actually attach it to this contraption that we have built. Once we do that, head back to the musicians once again and tell them that you'll take them up there. Also, make sure that you put the steering wheel on here because it's going to be very difficult without the steering wheel. But I believe this lovely machine should be able to just drive us right over these rocks because of the nice big tires that they have. And just kind of take your time. Don't murder the musicians, we still need them alive. Once you get to the top, you'll unlock the Fairy and we'll be able to enhance our armor to level 2. For the third Fairy, we're going to head north from Outskirts Stable, and we're going to go very far north. So we're going to need cold resistance food or at least one piece of the cold weather gear. We're going to go to the TOTK Tundra. Once here, talk to our wonderful musicians once again, and they're going to talk about needing a horn player to be able to appease this Great Fairy. To find the horn player, you can head south along this road, or if you have the TOTK Bridge Stable unlocked, you can cross the bridge here, and you kind of follow this road until you come to this bend right here on the map. You're going to see him sitting in this hole right here. Glide down into the hole and talk to this man, and he's going to tell you he needs help getting out of here. Once you've built what you deem to be a safe enough contraption, tell him to get in, and it's time to get him out of here. You may or may not need some Zonai charges to be able to get you through this, depending on how big of a contraption you decide to make, but as long as we can get him out of here, that is all we need to do. As a reward for getting him out, he's going to head back to the troop, but he's also going to give you bee honey ×3. Save this because you're going to need it later. Once you get him out of the hole, head back to the TOTK stable, put a roof on their cart that they want, and then tell them that you're going to take him up to the Fairy. From here, we just kind of need to leisurely make our way up there, and we have unlocked the third Fairy. From here, things start getting very expensive to upgrade your armor. It's finally time for the last Great Fairy, and all we need is one more member of the band. If you don't remember where this is, it is southeast of Central Hyrule, and you can get there by going through this little cavern here, or you can just launch yourself there from one of these Skyview towers. Make sure to talk to Mastro the Maestro. He's going to ask you to find a drummer to complete the band and unlock the last Fairy. Now, thankfully, the drummer is not very far away. If you head to where Hestu was in Breath of the Wild, which is Dueling Peak Stables is right down there. If you follow the road, you go across Cocorico Bridge and you climb up this mountain right here. You can come to this little spot on the map, just south of Cocorico Village and north of Dueling Peak Stables. There's actually this little tunnel right here. And then through this tunnel is actually going to be the drummer that we need to talk to. This drummer is going to want honey, and thankfully we got honey on the last quest, so we don't even have to go find any. Head back to Dueling Peak Stables and talk to the Maestro again, who's going to inform you that the bridge is broken to be able to get to the Fairy, so we actually need to build a fancy little boat to carry this band across the river to suit the Fairy. I attached 2 logs on either side, 2 fans, a battery, and some steering wheels, or a steering wheel rather, and all of those pieces can be found right in this area, so it should be very easy to accomplish. Once you build your noble steed of a boat, talk to Maestro and tell him to get on and let's go for a ride. Once you get across, the final cutscene will ensue and you'll have unlocked your 4th and final Fairy. Now, I really do hope you all enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to subscribe for more Tears of the Kingdom content, and I'll see you all in the next one.